File number 2, Dealings with the Devil, Johann Christoph Heismann. Christoph Heismann was an Austrian painter born in Trostien, Bavaria, in 1651 or 1652. The exact date is unknown. Little is known about him before 1677. What we do know is that he is an impoverished painter, and having lost his father, became distraught. It was at this point in his life that he became face to face with the devil. It was the year 1668 when Christoph made the deal. Christoph states that one day the devil appeared before him as a burgher, or a citizen or member of the wealthy bourgeoisie, with a large black dog, and asked him why he was distressed. He would help me out of my distress if I were willing to subscribe myself in ink to him to be his son. He would assist me and help me in every way possible, Heismann wrote. The painter agreed to a 9-year contract, and so a pact was drawn up and signed in blood, and in ink, a year later. After 9 years, Heismann's body and soul will belong to the devil. Over the ensuing years, the devil appeared to Heismann in various grotesque forms. The devil also sent Heismann visions of hell, which he describes as filling with burning flames and a terrible stench. In it there was a large cauldron, from which came heart-rending moans and groans of human beings, and on its edge sat a hellish devil who did nothing but pour flaming resin, sulfur, and pitch it over them. Heismann painted several pictures of the devil and kept a diary of his visions. In 1677, the pact was due, and Heismann grew anxious about his fate. On August 19, 1677, Heismann began to suffer from terrible seizures. These incidents, which took place in a church, caused Heismann to be, quote, seized by heavy convulsions and thus brought to confess his bondage. After revealing the pact to the priest, Heismann was sent to make a pilgrimage to a monastery, Mariazell Basilica, in Austria to end his torment. Mariazell is one of the most important pilgrimage sites in Austria, as it is known for its stunning architecture and religious icons. It is here where Heismann went under several exorcisms and finally broke free of the blood contract. Some stories claim that monks saw the devil personally return the contract in the form of a winged dragon. All seemed well for Heismann as he returned to live with his sister in Vienna, but in less than a year he began to suffer from seizures once again. His condition worsened as his legs became paralyzed and he began to see hallucinations of Christ and the Virgin Mary. He realized that the second contract he made in ink was still due. He returned to Mariazell in 1678 to rid the final contract once and for all. Inspired by his rescue from the devil's influence, he committed himself to a Bavarian monastery and became a brother Hospitaller. Hospitaller are also known as Fate Bene Fratelli, meaning do good brothers in Italian. The Brothers of Mercy and the Merciful Brothers. This order carries out a wide range of health and social service activities around the country. Christoph Heismann, with his new name of Brother Chrysostomus, devoted himself to religious work and art until his death on March 14, 1700. To preserve the details of the Heismann's exorcism, a manuscript, partly in Latin and German, was composed sometime between 1714 and 1729, titled Trophy of Mariazell, Trophaeum Mariano Cellensi. Despite being from the most popular record of demonic possession at the time period, the manuscript soon was forgotten as the years passed. It was rediscovered in the early 1920s by noted Viennese librarian and researcher Dr. Rudolf Peyer-Thurn. He shared the document to Sigmund Freud, a popular Austrian neurologist, and asked for his analysis of the case. Freud's article, titled A 17th Century Demonological Neurosis, became a key document in the Freudian psychoanalysis. The Heismann manuscript, including paintings made by Heismann during his possession, led Freud to believe the following. 1. Rather feminine self-depictions of Heismann in his paintings show Heismann as suppressing homosexual tendencies. Secondly, multiple breasts in paintings show Heismann's sexual associations with the devil. Third, the number 9. There is a 9-year gap between Heismann's pact with the devil and its implementation, and the 9 days in which Heismann resists the devil. This represents pregnancy fantasies. Fourth, A penis is painted on the devil in every picture. This, along with the pregnancy fantasies, shows that Heisman, quote, recoiled from a feminine attitude towards his father, which has its climax in the fantasy of giving birth to his child. Mourning for the lost father, heightened by yearning for him. Heisman's repressed pregnancy fantasy is reactivated, against which he must defend himself through neurosis and by degrading his father. 5. Freud found that Heisman selling himself to the devil brought him a peace of mind. His father had died, he had become melancholy, and the devil, who came along and asked him why he was upset and mournful, promised to help him. Here we have someone who gives himself to the devil in order to be free of an emotional depression. And last, ultimately, Freud reasoned the devil is the father figure. While there have been many later cases of delusions involving demonic possession, Christoph Heisman's case still has a certain fascination. Some say that Heisman's case is an early example of how psychiatric illness can interact with religious beliefs and how that can easily be exploited for political purposes. After Heisman's death, his case became a local religious folklore that helps reinforce support for a church in an era of fading relevance. Even today, stories of demonic possession are still used to support religious movements. This is the Occult Files, and stay tuned as we continue to explore the world of the occult.